Hey there, Libras. Medicine here, and I just would like to say thank you so much for joining us for this lunar month reading. This is a card reading where we pretty much find out insights. We get an inner look as to what is going on in the inner world of Libra during this lunar month, this lunar month cycle, this moon cycle, um, how it will influence, how it will affect Libra. So I'm just shuffling the cards right now, real quick, while um, we're here to get some insights as to the life of Libra during this lunar cycle. Here to get some insights as to the life of Libra during this lunar cycle. Coming up on the 5th of April and ending on the 4th of May. We're here to get some insights as to the life of Libra during this lunar month cycle. Okay. Okay, so your first card is the Hermit in reverse. I can see that the light is kind of causing an obstruction, so hopefully, let's see if we can be able to see that. Got the Four of Cups. Hermit in reverse, the Four of Cups, huh? The World card in reverse. Six of Wands. Three Swords in reverse. Three Pentacles in reverse. Nine of Swords. Judgment in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse. So first of all, I want to say this moon cycle coming up, the new moon, they're also known as the dark moon, is going to be in the sign of Aries, and then the full moon will be expressed in Libra. So it's just it's peculiar. It's funny to me that you have a lot of upside down cards at this time because the new moon is beginning in your opposing sign, which is Aries, Libra. So it's not too much of a surprise to me. Um, but that being said, one of the things that I noticed is that you may be going through a lot of anxiety and nervousness for a certain future that is to come for you. Perhaps anxiety and nervousness and fears because you're afraid of some things that are in your past, something to do with your past, something to do with some things that you've laid to rest. And it seems that um, it has to do with a relationship or something that was said that was revealed to you, a truth that was revealed to you that you don't seem to be able to let go of. I mean, you're in contemplation about it. You know, the Four of Cups is showing, okay, I'm in contemplation about it, and I'm really like considering and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how to move forward in my life. But like, you got a message that just kind of broke your heart, killed your heart. It was a heart throbbing message. And you don't seem to be really be able to let go of it. You don't really seem to be able to move forward from it. And therefore, the cleansing process that is supposed to happen for you doesn't get to happen because you won't let go um, of of whatever it was that the message revolved around. And perhaps it has something to do with a job that didn't work out for you, or some sort of advancement. There was a need for advancement. It didn't work out for you, maybe. With the Three of Pentacles, we're looking at advancement. So, like, connecting these two, you know, maybe it was you had a victory. You did everything that you needed to do um, in order to make this advancement happen here, you know. Um, but you got this message and then you didn't advance anyway. It's like I did all of this work, you know. I did everything that they said. I went out on a limb. I fought for my victory. I gained my victory, but then still I get this heartbreaking message, and unfortunately things doesn't work out, and the other side of the bargain is not kept. Like your management, your mentor, something having to do with the other side of the bargain that was not kept. It was like I kept my side of the bargain, but you didn't keep your side, and it seems to me that it has to do with management, or a boss, or a mentor of some sort of higher up, who's supposed to be training you and supposed to be teaching you and supposed to be entering into a mentorship with you, cross training you, helping you to grow bigger, helping you to advance in a career or a vocation of some sort. It was like, I mean, you're fighting for a cause here with the Six of Wands, but then you still receive this heartbreaking message, and it's like, well, what's up? I did all of this work, and then still I don't get, what I came for. My other and the other part of the bargain, I don't get to have what I came for. I don't get to have, like, not all parties, like, they're not being cooperative. Like, there's some funk going on with that. There's total disagreement going on with that. And for some of you, you might even be taking on a whole bunch more work than what you're being paid for. You might be taking on some burdens and responsibilities that you have absolutely no clue what you're doing or how you're doing it. It might just be like some of this stuff just got flushed on you, jumped on you here with the Three of Pentacles. Like like something happened, and now all of a sudden you're being made to be this burden carrier, be responsible for all these things that you don't even know what you're doing, or you're not even trained in. People just kind of put it on you, but then it's like they put it on you and they're not paying you the proper amount, right? Like, it's like one of those things where I'm doing the job of the manager, but I'm not getting paid management salary. You know what I mean? Like, there seems to be some sort of unfair trade going on here for some of you too. And perhaps that's what this message has to do with. And I'm sitting here contemplating, okay, how do I get myself out of this situation? Like, what do I do moving forward? Because honestly, it seems like the stars just kind of were not on your side. Like, the odds were against you, especially because I've got one, two, three major arcana cards here, and all of them are working in a destructive pattern. So it seems like the odds were against you for some reason. It just seems like, it just feels like, was this ever meant to happen? Was it ever meant to be? Lots of questions come up, and I try to do the right thing. I try to fulfill my end of the bargain, and still things don't work out. Like, it's like it's like totally unfair, totally unbalanced, unfair trade. But unfortunately, the biggest issue here is that you're not able to let go of it. The biggest issue is that you're not able to let go of it, Libra. And honestly, at this point, you did all you can. The best thing for you to do now is just kind of detach from the situation and move forward in your life. But you're not able to. You receive this information, and then it's like you're still holding on to it. You're still trying, to fight for it. You're still trying to figure it out. You're still trying to understand why. And sometimes it's just best to just let it go. Sometimes it's just best to just, I don't need to understand why. This was an unfair situation. This did not happen in a good way. Let it be a lesson learned to myself. But also don't live in that trauma of it, though, Libra. because you win, you lose. Sometimes things happen for us and sometimes they don't. And we cannot allow for the rest of our lives to be dictated and defined by these kinds of experiences. It is an unfair experience, and it did happen. It wasn't right. But we can't allow for our lives, the rest of our lives, to be defined by that. Let it be a lesson learned, but then also sit and really reflect and contemplate on on uh on where you went wrong with it all. What was the bigger lesson here for you? Because the fact that I got three divine cards here talks about self-expression, which means to me that somewhere along the way you did have some sort of insight that things were not going to work out in the way that you wanted them to. And somewhere along the way you just knew, somewhere in your heart, you knew this to be true, but you just didn't want to believe it. You just didn't want to follow it. You just didn't trust in your instincts. You just didn't trust in your intuition, that inner voice that was inside of you. You weren't trusting in that. But, I mean, you knew. I mean, and I don't mean to say that in a way to like blame you or like point the finger at you, but I want you to feel, I want this to be like an empowering thing for you, Libra, because you do have insight. You are intuitive, even though you might be very thought driven by thoughts and logic and reasoning. Okay, maybe even you're calculative, your intellectual in your intellectual intuition. Somewhere in there, you did know, somewhere you felt it, you knew it to be true. The Three of Swords even supports that you have felt this, you knew it to be true, that you were not going to make it through, that this process was not going to work out the way that you wanted it to, but yet you still went for it anyway. So really, the issue here is understanding, well, why did I go for something that I knew was not going to happen? Why did I give my all for something that I knew was not going to happen? I mean, because the Four of Cups talks about contemplation, reflection, getting a higher perspective, and yet you still have these two major arcana cards here, which is like, you're like, it's blocking yourself. I mean, the Hermit card is talking about taking time for yourself, taking time for solitude, taking time to heal, taking time to cleanse. The World card is talking about, not having the necessary wisdom, still having some things that you need to understand before you can complete and fulfill one process. So there's still some things there that you have yet to really truly understand and really truly grab a hold of. And on top of that, you're not taking time for yourself, Libra. You're not taking time for yourself. But I cannot help but to feel like you saw this coming. Both of these cards, the Four of Cups, is like, I contemplated on this. My intuition told me, it gave me a route, it gave me a higher perspective of what was going on with all of this. And yet I still end up doing it anyway. And now I'm wondering why I got this message. I don't mean to sound harsh on you, Libra. I really don't. But really, I think the bigger message here for you is to learn to trust in your instincts, to learn to trust in your insights, to learn to trust in your intuition. The spirits are trying to watch over you, whether you understand that or not. And you can communicate. You do communicate with that form of consciousness. You communicate with spirit consciousness, even if you're not cognizant of the fact that you communicate with spirit consciousness. But you do communicate with them, Libra. And the fact of the matter is that is that maybe you lived in fear, maybe out of trauma, maybe out of insecurity, maybe out of distrust. You didn't listen to yourself. You didn't listen to the other side. That the insights, that secret voice that said, I knew this was going to happen. You didn't listen to that. So when it ends up happening, you just can't understand why. And the bigger picture here, Libra, is that, when we cut ourselves off from the other side, we gimp ourselves. We debilitate ourselves. It is to our detriment. Um, we handicap ourselves when we do that. Because the reality is that the other side is always and forever watching over us. They're obviously here. They're obviously present. And it's creating a triangle, which to me means that it's creating a trinity for you. Libra. But and yet and still, even though this Trinity was created for you, where it was like the spirits were watching you from all angles, okay, from the side of the mother, from the side of the father, from the side of creation. You know what I mean? Like the spirits were watching you from all angles, and yet you still ended up creating this situation, where you didn't trust in it. You didn't you knew. And I say that once again in a very empowering way. Libra, you are intuitive. You've got a power. You've got an insight. You've got a power inside of you. Trust it. Believe in it. Because that's part of the medicine. That's part of what I keep getting here. I want you to learn to trust in your intuition. Even if it doesn't always make sense, even if it doesn't speak to logic, even if it's not reasonable, even if it's not always sensible, not to say that you can't trust in those sides of your consciousness as well, but learn to trust in that side of yourself that lives beyond reason, lives beyond consciousness, because that's how you're gonna win this. You've got spirits all around you, and it's just funny to me how you have all these spirits around you, and yet you still got yourself in this situation, Libra. Gotta own it. You gotta own up to it. You can point the blame, you can point the finger at the other people that didn't do what, but you've got to own up to, I should have listened to myself. Because that's the real true lesson here for you. That's the real true healing here. I should have listened to myself. It's obvious here with the Nine of Swords that you are in conflict. That you were in conflict. You were choosing between what was on the inside, what was on the outside, between your thoughts, your insights, your intuition. You were in conflict about this whole thing from the beginning. And yet you still went for it anyway, thinking, okay, there's no reason why this would not happen, but my intuition, something inside of me is saying it's not going to happen. But there's no reason why it wouldn't happen. Why in the world would this not happen? And when it not didn't happen, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Why did it not happen? But you needed to listen to your intuition. Sometimes your insights really speak volumes, and maybe they don't make sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense what they're talking about, but you know them to be true anyway. Sometimes your intuition, I'm telling you, Libra, I'm telling you. So, 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 this is kind of a time of flux for you, because things are just kind of upside down for you, and it seems like relationships. I'm getting into missed relationships on account of it. I'm not able to receive the revelations. The Judgment cards talks about revelations from the universe. I don't know if you can see the Judgment card there. Yeah, you can see it. The Judgment card, revelations from the universe. I'm not able to see the truth. I'm not able to see, um, the insight. I'm not able to see, I'm not able to get all the insights and truth that I need in order to move forward with this process. I'm just kind of lost, and I'm kind of in a space of fear. I'm telling you, this whole thing to me, Libra, has to do with learning to trust in because your relationships are suffering for it. Your relationship to spirit is suffering for it. You are not able to move forward. In a good way with the responsibilities that happen for you. This whole thing is about learning to trust in your intuition, in your instincts, and you did, but the great part about all this though, Libra, the great part about all this though, honey, is that you did become the victor, is that you showed yourself that you can make things happen if you want to, even if the end result doesn't always end up the way you would like it to end up. You did show yourself that you can make things happen if you want to. And that might be a bigger part of the medicine here as well, is that you did make something happen, that when you put your mind to something, you can do anything that you want. When you put your mind to it, you've got the drive. That much is obvious. The Six of Wands, you've got the drive. You've got the go-getter attitude that you need in order to make things happen in your life. When you set out to do something, you're going to do it. That's what the Six of Swords says. When you set out to do something, Libra, you're going to do it. You showed yourself that. You've proven that to yourself. You have proven that to yourself. But whatever fears and insecurities and traumas and nervousness that is happening on the inside of you right now, I'm telling you, Libra, that is keeping you away from being able to receive the truth from the universe. The universe is talking to you, It's talking to you. It's trying to tell you something. You got to be willing to listen, though. You got to be willing to hear it. You got to be willing to see, sense, and fear and feel it. And you can't if you're too busy in your mind, so nervous and racked up about the future. But you know what, though, Libra? You will work through this. The Nine of Swords is definitely in a position that suggests that you will work through this process. Even though it may be something that is confusing, frustrating, and difficult for you, even though if you can't necessarily see your way beyond the things that are going on in your path right now, you will work through it. Things will eventually get better, but right now they are in flux. This is all a learning process with the Nine of Swords. This is all a learning process. And so I think that's the biggest thing here. In fact, when I look across here between the Nine of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the World card says you still have some things left to learn. And this is all a learning process. This whole thing expresses that. This whole thing makes that very clear. This is all a learning process for you. Let it be a learning process. Write about it, cry about it, think about it, review it, meditate on it. If you are someone who is versed in meditation, or you never done meditation before, but you might be thinking about doing meditation, you might want to meditate on it. You might want to sit and meditate. And when I say that, what I mean is this. You might want to sit still, get yourself in a peaceful, calm, tranquil space, and breathe and see these thoughts, as if like detach from the thoughts and see them in front of you, just kind of floating by. But at the same time, allow yourself to analyze them and allow yourself to get a clear picture of what's going on here. Because there's a bigger truth here that you're missing, Libra. That's part of all of this. There's a bigger truth for you that you're missing. And that's part of why that's part of why all this flux is happening here for you. Leap of faith. Ooh, wow. Leap of faith is your card. Ooh, this is one of my favorite ones too. I want to bring it closer. You got the spider web that's talking about infinity, talking about the web of life, talking about creation. Ooh, the threads of life, how everything is interconnected, and how it is your safe zone. Like, because this person is like this nature spirit is like on the trapeze, like this is like the trapeze. It represents like that safety net that is underneath you, beneath you at all times, that no matter what thin lines you're walking on, no matter if you're walking on the edge, no matter if you're daring yourself to do something that is like you're on a silver lining, that is like this could go very good or this can go very bad. But there's also this sense of keeping balance, right? Libra is keeping balance. And this person, she's got one foot on, at the center of this thread, keeping balance, standing in balance, standing in equality. But then at the same time, moving forward, and not just moving forward, but also like trusting in one's magic, trusting in one's power. You see, she's got her wand up there, trusting in your power, trusting in your magic, enjoying life all along the way, not being so caught up in the thin thread that you're walking on that you cannot enjoy the experience all along the way. She's got her floaty, dress, dancing in the wind. She's enjoying life all along the way. She's in a place of joy and enlightenment, and she's connected to everything and is breathing in the air of the universe. She's connected to everything and all that is. She's loving it, and she knows that she's safe. If ever she fell off of balance, it's okay. She's safe. She'll get right back up. She'll fall soft on a cushion and she'll get right back up. So do not be afraid to fall. In other words, don't be afraid to fall. You know you will get right back up. So that's a lot of medicine right there, and you're talking about harmony. You're talking about harmony. I mean, look at the different colors going on. Definitely someone who's in harmony with herself, with her aura. Her aura is brilliant. It's bright. It's shining. It's positive. It's free. It's liberated. It's all of that. Libra. So let's see what the book has to say about this. See this as a chance to create something wonderful. You are in a transition period where you need to draw on your faith, intuition, and knowledge and take the leap. You will not fail. You have a safety net of support in place. You will overcome your fear and find a beautiful outcome is on the horizon. This leap of faith is the best course of action at this time. If you do make a mistake, you have the ability to try again and learn from what did not work the first time. All signs indicate that if you just trust, you will succeed. Jump headfirst into the void of the unknown. Even if you eventually fall, for a while, you will soar. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, Libra. Take that leap of faith, baby. Take that leap of faith. You can do this. You can do this. Do not let one failure. We've been saying that all read, right? Don't let one failure get you down. You've proven to yourself that you can do this. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We all have pitfalls. It's all good. No worries. Get your butt back up and continue on. Don't you let it get you down. All right, Libra, I love you, and I hope that this in some way, shape, or form has helped you moving forward. I do also want to make very clear that a lot of these cards are minor arcana, which means that, they can be altered and changed, which means that if you're reading this sometimes a little sooner, you got some things to contemplate and to think about. The minor arcana are mainly based on your energy in the current moment. The major arcana, however, are very stern and firm. You have some things to learn about. Okay, so what do you need to learn about when it comes to the major arcana? Well, first of all, you need to learn how to take time for yourself. Second of all, you need to learn how to not isolate yourself so much. But you need to take time for yourself, though. You need to take time for yourself to heal. You need to take time for yourself to cleanse yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Taking time for you is very important, Libra. You got to take time for yourself. You cannot be available for everybody and everything all the time. You need to take time for you. So Secondly, understand that you've got some wisdoms that you still need to ground in and to learn from the universe, not from man, not from me, not from another person, not from a friend. You've got some things for yourself that you need to learn. And in order for you to be able to fulfill and complete this part of your journey. Thirdly, you've got the judgment card, which means that you've got some things that you need to be willing to consider. You've got some things you need to be willing to resurrect. You've got some things you need to be willing to bring up and bring forth. You need to open your heart. You need to open your mind to the other side. You've got to open your mind to the shadow side, honey. You've got to open your mind to it, because there you will find revelations. You will gain insights. And also the judgment card talks about a need to be whole. Okay, you've been fragmented for long enough. You are keeping yourself from being whole. The judgment card in reverse, you're keeping yourself from being whole. What does that mean? You're keeping yourself from resurrecting and transmuting and reconnecting with all the things that you have discarded, trashed away, thrown away, all the things that have been put to rest, have been laid to rest, have died, for goodness knows how long. But all these things are a part of you, your worthiness, your dignity, your soul, yourself, your spirit, your totality of who you are, that you are so controlled by titles and certificates and genders and categorization and order, that it's divided you. You are divided because you give yourself to division. Everything has to have a separate box, a separate order. But when you can finally see yourself and everything in the world and outside of the world as one, I want to say something here, Libra. All of these three major arcana, they're personal cards. Personal. They have nothing to do with other people. Nothing. All three of them. The Hermit. The Hermit is what? A hermit. They live in a cave. They're a loner. This card speaks about introspection and reflection, which is something that you've been resisting. The world card, okay, your wisdom, your teachings from the universe, understanding the ups and downs of what of life, as it pertains to making goals happen, making dreams happen, fulfilling a purpose. Okay, fully fulfilling a purpose in your life, completing and fulfilling a purpose in your life, and grounding your dreams into physical reality. Okay, this is a personal card, judgment card. That's your soul, that's your spirit. Okay, these are your things that you've let to be put to rest for one reason or another, that you need to be able to reconnect with. Oh, why is it that I used to read this certain book, watch this certain TV show, or this certain movie? Why is it that I used to play this certain game? Why is it that I like this certain kind of language, this certain kind of music, these certain types of people? These certain types of experiences, these certain types of places. There's a reason for it all. There's a reason for it all. It's all divinely connected. And it's all really about understanding that you are divinely connected to all these experiences that you have. These are all personal. So this is really about a time of you learning to be with yourself and learning to be with you and only you. And it's really about a time of going within. And it's really about a time of you being the master of your world and about tapping into your spirituality. I'm telling you, it's all about that, Libra. So consider all of that. Take the leap of faith. Don't let one failure keep you from playing the game. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I don't know if you ever seen it, but that comes from a Cinderella story by Hilary Duff. That's where I got that from. Just saying. Anyhow, I love you, Libra. I hope that this information has helped you, and I hope that I get to continue to serve you in this way. Hopefully, this has served you some way, somehow, and I hope that it continues to. I got Lenore.